All right.
Hi, I'm Shanda with Namaste Healing and Retreat Center in beautiful Key West, Florida. I'm here today with my wonderful friend, Jamie Kirkpatrick, and we are so excited to share with you some tangible tools to help raise your vibration. At Namaste Healing Retreat Center, we focus on energy healing, sound healing, and anything that is raising your vibration, awakening your consciousness. We love to work with sound, energy, and light, and using cutting edge technology and techniques to help you shine. So I would love for Jamie to tell us a little bit about herself and her journey and how raising your vibration can dramatically change and uplift your life. So Jamie, take it away.
Hi everybody. My name's Jamie Kirkpatrick. I started having my awakening back in 2021 after a series of many hard experiences that and different losses and such like that kind of led me to look for one, the higher meaning in life, and two, at that time my vibration was really really low, and so I had no energy. I was sick, my hair was falling out. I couldn't even have the energy to like really care for my own family, and I was in bed, I was bedridden for a very long time. And I went to many different doctors and nobody really knew how to help me because this was an energy issue, and I grew up in a family that didn't really know about energy, or that there's a way that you can lift your own energy and protect your energy. And so as I started awakening in 2021, what really happened to me, I was laying in bed one day and I was just praying to want to live and to have the energy to do all the things that my life needed me to do. I have 3 children. And so as I was doing that, I had my hand on my heart and I had my eyes closed, and all of a sudden I started feeling energy shoot through my hand into my heart, and I started seeing angels and Mother Mary in particular fly around in my bedroom. At first, I thought maybe I was in trouble. I was like, oh my goodness, Mother Mary's here. And then I thought it was strange because I wasn't religious. Of course, everybody knows who Mother Mary is, but I was not religious. I did not grow up in a religious household. And then I was just like, thought I was kind of losing my marbles after that. But what was happening when this was happening is the energy and the light from the angels was streaming through me, through my hands into my own heart. And I started feeling better because what was happening is they were filling my energy field back up with the light of the angels. And so it was starting to heal me. And so this led me on a very long journey, just the past 3 years for me, much longer for some others, but where I really ended up learning how to change your vibration and how to raise in vibration and how it actually changes your reality. Like I said, at this time I was bedridden. I was probably about 6 pounds overweight. My hair was falling out. I had my hands would be stuck like this. I had all of these symptoms going on that nobody could figure out, no doctor. And when I started doing energy healing with the angels and Mother Mary, that started showing up for me after, I was praying for assistance because I didn't know what to do, even though I wasn't religious. Of course, whenever we have some kind of experience that we don't know what to do, I always say you don't need God till you do. And then when you do, you're like, oh, please come help me, God, So it was kind of like that kind of situation. And the angels and Mother Mary came. And so it kind of sent me on this path. And then I was led to Miss Shanda here, who did a lot of these things that are on this retreat that we're going to talk about. And they all help to heal my frequency and fix the parts of my soul that you can't see, that are not my physical body, that are in this invisible field that we'll talk about later. And so my journey has been the past 3 years of working with angels and Mother Mary and a lot of ascended masters. And I ended up getting my angel energy healing certification. I've done lots of healings on people. I've healed ancestral lines. I'm a medium and channel for angels and for ascended masters to come and speak through me, to send their energy through me into healing other people. And also I'm able to channel my newest thing since July is light language, which is very healing to the person doing it and to anyone that's listening to it. So that's kind of been my journey thus far in the short version. And so wonderful to meet you all.
Yay! That's excellent. So, Jamie and I have started hosting retreats together in the Florida Keys where we combine our services, our talents, our techniques, and so forth to help people raise their vibration, heal their bodies, heal their lives, and create an entirely different reality. So, thank you so much for that intro, Jamie. That was great. And I am so honored to get to share this experience with people, but also share this experience with Jamie because she gets it. She is the walking, talking proof of how these techniques and these technologies and these
Energy tools, vibration tools can
yes,
change your
how these,
life. Yes, my
yeah,
life
how it
was in
really changed.
shambles. My relationships were not healthy. My body was not healthy. My mind, everything was reflecting the fact that my energy was not flowing and it was not working properly. And I had a lot of stuff in my field that was making me feel this way. And so when you're in a lower vibration, you experience a lower vibrational life, whether it's your fault or not. It's a vibration thing. And so my life has dramatically changed. My relationships have dramatically changed. Everybody that I now converse with, and that's in my experience, are higher vibrational experiences. Thus, now I'm doing this with Miss Shanda, and just in general, my whole reality has changed because when you change your vibration, you change your reality. You attract the vibration that you're vibrating at. And so I was in a very low vibration, so I was attracting lower vibrational experiences. By lifting and raising and changing my vibration to a higher vibration, I now attract higher vibrational experiences. It's just the law of energy, the law of attraction. And so that's why I am a walking testament of how changing your vibration literally will change your life. Not only did it change my experiences that I'm having, the friends and the people around me, but it also changed my physical body so that I could feel healthy and well, and I have endless bounds of energy to do whatever I want now. And this is after I spent 20 years going to doctors, lung specialists, you name it, I did it. None of it helped me. I'm not saying the doctors didn't want to help me. I'm not even going to comment really about any of that. That's just part of my journey. But what I'm saying is that for me, it was an energy issue. And because it was an energy issue, they really couldn't assist me. And then on top of that, because my energy was in such a low vibration, I was attracting lower vibrational experiences. And so now that I've changed my vibration to a higher vibration, all of my experiences are high vibrational. And so it's really about changing your frequency and your vibration to uplift and change your life and your reality.
Beautiful, beautiful. So one of the tools that we love to use, and especially it's the focus of one of our retreats, is called the Signature Sound Dolphin Adventure. And in this retreat, we have packed together the highest vibrational experiences that we can offer into a week-long retreat where you come to the Florida Keys and you get to play with dolphins and you get to have deep one-on-one personal healing. These retreats are super, super small and very, very intimate. And they're really not like anything else that I've ever seen or ever experienced at any other retreat facilities and with any other retreat leaders because they are so small and so personalized. And one of the key factors in raising your vibration is, number one, vibrational awareness. So let's talk about that for a minute and help people understand what the heck we're talking about in vibrational awareness. And so there are lots of elements that affect our vibe. And depending on how you receive information, whatever your strongest skill sets are, you may receive information through feeling. Like you go to a place, you're like, wow, it feels really great here. Or you might go to a place and like, this is not for me. It doesn't feel good. We send and receive information through our sight, through our feeling, through our hearing, and all of our senses. And so we are always led and guided to experiences that are either going to lift us up and make us feel better, keep us in a neutral state, or diminish our energy. And so what we're looking to do is all of us feel better and lift up and raise our vibration. And so our personal vibration is dictated by quite a few things. And let's go over some of those together. One of the most obvious ones is whatever kind of food that we're putting into the body is going to affect our vibration. So if we are putting low vibrational foods that are toxic, highly processed, and so forth, then we're not going to feel good. We're not going to have a good outcome from that. So we all probably have already figured out that what we are, what we eat. And so the higher vibrational foods we can eat, the better we're going to feel. So things that are really fresh, as close to source as possible, minimal processing, and so forth. Same thing when it comes to the quality of the water that we're putting into our bodies, the quality and the ingredients in all of our beverages, anything that we're input, right? Like that. And then some of the other factors to consider are environmental inputs. So we are constantly being bombarded by outside frequencies, and these are electromagnetic frequencies that some of us are sensitive to and a lot of us are not. And when we are in an environment that has a lot of chaotic energies, they can rattle us and make us feel distracted. It's kind of hard to think and kind of really hard to know who you are and why you're here. And so if we're living or working in a what I would call a chaotic or toxic environment, and especially if we're doing that over time, we really become diminished personally, and our frequency, our vibration becomes diminished and threatened. Really, it threatens our survival. Just like Jamie described her experience, it can be quite life-threatening even when we are in something where there are harsh environmental factors that are creating our own difficulty in hearing who am I? All right. And so vibrational awareness, what I like to help people understand is it's everything. So it's everything. It's everything. It's the thoughts that we're thinking, it's the emotions that we're experiencing, it's the way our nervous system is being affected. And our nervous system, this is the thing that I have focused my work on in working in wellness and healing for the past 17 years. I focus on working with the nervous system. So it's my understanding and in my training that the nervous system is 95% of us. So that is the part that grows our hair, that heals our cells, that digests our food, keeps our heart beating, and so forth, that we don't really have any conscious input in, you know, we don't need the conscious mind in order for all those processes to happen. And that 95% of us is incredibly intelligent, and it is making associations all the time. And that I try not to get into all of that because I love going down that rabbit hole and teaching people about their nervous system so they can understand the influences that are beyond what they're consciously aware of. And once we become aware of something, we can change it and we can improve it and ultimately feel better, improve our lives. So when we're looking at these environmental inputs, it's light, it's sound, it's silent energies and frequencies that we don't know. It's emotions. It's the emotions that other people are emitting around us. And that can be a highly effective diminishment or a highly effective bolster to our energy. So if we're around happy people, we feel happy. If we're around sad, angry people, we are bombarded with those emotions. And those are very, very powerful energies. And so what we want to do today is help you start to just think about your environment, your office, your home, your where you're sleeping, and the environment that your children are in, that your pets are in, that your spouse is in, and so on, because all of those energies become a part of us, and because we have an electromagnetic field that surrounds the body. We'll talk more about that in a minute. But within this electromagnetic field, it is magnetic, and so we're picking up these energies everywhere we're going, everywhere we are. And so I see a lot of times when people are in environments, let's say, where there's a lot of trauma, where there's a lot of chaotic energy, they're like, gee, I don't know why, but my health is failing. Like, well, one of the most obvious things to me when I've been studying this for, over 20 years is, well, your environment. So if you're in toxic environment, and you're trying to create health, one of the easiest things to do is get in a different environment and see how you feel. And so something like coming on a retreat is amazing because you're coming into a clean environment. You're coming into an environment where your nervous system doesn't have a potentially unknown to you negative association with something in your environment, whether it's a food or a color or a sound or a pollen in the air or something like that. So coming on a retreat is fabulous reset for the nervous system. We also all have our own internal programming, and this is a huge influence on what is creating our reality. So we have thoughts going on in our mind all the time. The mind is constantly going in most humans, and that's why we benefit so wonderfully from meditation, because in meditation, the idea is we stop the mind and we're resetting everything. And we all have internal programming, and most of it happened to us in our childhood. And we spend our entire adult lives trying to sort through that programming and figure out what is good, what is not so good, and what we really want to change. And that is some of my favorite work, is to help people find the things that are serving them and bolster those, make those stronger, and then clear out anything that is not yours, not your programming. It was absorbed into, just put into you, just like a computer program. Somebody typed into something that is no longer serving you. We find that and clear that, and it creates an entirely different trajectory. Let's talk for another minute about this electromagnetic field. Jamie, let's get you to describe this for people.
Okay, so basically, I'm going to describe it in like a easy way to understand. I was a elementary school teacher for 17 years, and so I'm going to simplify it. And even as this stuff was starting to happen to me, like I said, in the past 3 years, some of the information I was getting from my guides and my angels was like way quantum. And I was like, let's keep it simple. Let's keep it easy, because I'm trying to understand all of this. I'm still excited that Mother Mary's flying around in my bedroom. So basically what it is that you have this invisible field that goes out all the way around you 6 feet. And in this invisible field is your energy field, your soul, your aura, your essence. And it's not just your physical body. It goes out all the way around 6 feet. And so whenever you're within 6 feet of somebody else, you're sharing your energy with them, and they're sharing their energy with you. So anybody that you're around at any time of day, if you're within 6 feet, you're sharing each other's energy. Now, in this invisible field are all these different energy spaces, almost like if that movie, The Matrix, and it has all these different patterns and things in your field. And what can happen over a lifetime of anybody is really a lot of like denser energy can get stored in these centers that you can't see in this invisible field, and it can make you not feel well because all of it's clogged up, basically. Like it needs to be dusted out, I guess would be the easiest way to say. And so this invisible field really is part of who you are, even though nobody really talks about it. And so when I said that the angels and Mother Mary came in and they started helping me heal the parts of me that you couldn't see, but they were the parts that were broken. And so nobody could see them. That's why the doctors couldn't figure it out. They couldn't help me because it wasn't really in my physical body. I was having physical body symptoms, many of them, but it was because of this invisible field that really had just went through so much, and so much of my own light and energy had been filled with other dust of other people's energy, and just the experiences that I had had that were traumatic. So what this field is you, and there is many ways to protect this field. There's many ways to heal and cleanse this field. There's many ways to change the vibration that this field is operating at. So when we talk about raising vibration, everything here is energy. Everything is made of energy. Nobody's going to dispute that. That is known by everyone. So everything is energy and everything is operating at a certain frequency, moving, operating at a certain frequency, depending on the vibration of that person, place, thing, animal. It doesn't matter what it is. It's operating at a certain frequency. And so in this energy field that's invisible, there are different frequencies going on in there. And when you first come into this incarnation, you come in with your own frequency, your own vibration, and it's operating at optimal levels because no dust has got in this field yet. So it's not dusty. It's clear, it's clean, it's flowing. And so when we're talking about frequency and raising in vibration, and what we will do on this retreat here with the dolphins, and then the different skills that I've learned to heal myself and the things that Shanda's learned to heal herself and many others. We're talking about going out into this field and correcting it and dusting it so that it's nice and clean, so that the energy can be flowing and you can feel your best. And then what we're going to do is also teach you the tools to sustain that. So, no matter where you go, you can't really dictate who's going to be around you per se. Like if you're going to the grocery store, you might end up standing next to somebody who's got a bunch of dust in their field. It's not really their fault. They haven't learned how to dust their field, but you want to make sure that your field stays dust free. So what you're going to do with us on this retreat is we're going to get your field cleared and cleansed and flowing and completely free of all dust. And then we're going to teach you how to keep that field clear and cleansed and free of dust, and protect yourself from other people's fields, from anything really that is going to affect this field. Like we said, it's everything. Everything is vibration. Everything is energy. So this field can be affected by sound. It can be affected by thoughts, by emotions, by other people. If someone's standing next to you and they just start freaking out and they're having a big angry moment, their energy field, their field that nobody can see, is firing all of these things. And if you're standing next to it, it's firing into your field, even though it's not your anger or your energy, because you don't know how to set up protection and do things to make that only be happening for that person in their field. And so that's what we're talking about. Raising in vibration is getting your field clear of all the dust, and then learning the tools and the techniques to keep this field clear and cleansed and flowing properly. And there's many tools, and we're going to teach you all of the ones that we know. And so that's really what we're talking about when we're talking about vibration and this energy field and how it is affecting. It goes out all the way around you 6 feet. And again, whatever that field is operating at, that frequency, that energy, you will be led to other people and things that are operating in that energy. So it's kind of like tricky, because if you're an empath like me, I came into this incarnation really full of my own energy and jazzed up. And you can see this in photos of me when I'm little. But as time went on, I had, a childhood that was less than perfect. I had a single mother parent, and, there was alcohol use and different things in the home. Probably many people have this story. I'm trying to keep this positive, so I'm not going to go too deep into that. But what happened is that energy over time started to dampen and put a bunch of dust really in my field. And so then I couldn't get my field flowing and to feel who it is that I am and what it is that I want. And then I started vibrating at that same field as those around me after 25 years. It wasn't right away. And then what happened is I started attracting the same situations, because that was the vibration or that I was vibrating at. That was what my energy, the movement and the vibration, the frequency. And so it's not really like, this isn't about judging other people's fields and, oh, he's got so much dust in his field. It's really not about that, because people don't even know that these fields exist. They don't know that they're sharing this energy with each other. They don't know how to protect this field. They don't know how to clear and cleanse this field. And if everybody did, we would have a lot more fun here on this planet. I promise you that. So what we really want is to empower people to understand what this field is, and to know all the techniques to keep their field cleared and cleansed and dust free.
Beautiful. Yes. So So let's give everybody a couple more tangible tools for being able to raise their vibration. Now that we understand what the field is, we understand that
Right.
it can get dusty, it can get kind of clogged up with other people's stuff and our own stuff.
And our own, yes. It's not just
Yeah,
other people. Like,
yeah, of everywhere
I
we
had
go.
my own dust and I was sharing it with everybody. I didn't mean to, I didn't want to, but it's just part of like what happens because nobody's doing this on purpose. It's just something that like we're all starting to learn about, and the more awareness of it and the more knowledge, the more power we have to arm not only ourselves, but those of us around us, like to feel our best. So,
Yeah. So one of the most powerful tools that I've found over the last probably 30 years of my own personal healing journey and so forth is our birth tones. And I am absolutely thrilled that this is a part of our signature sound Dolphin Adventure Retreat. It's actually one of the core factors of it. And the cool thing to me is the connection between our birth frequencies and dolphins, because dolphins have what humans call a signature whistle. And so dolphins are master sound healers. They work with frequency. They are so beyond our ability to even understand. No one has cracked the code even of their language yet, but they're working with sound at a very, very high level. And each dolphin has a signature whistle. And so this is a particular sound that they are given shortly after birth that is sort of like their name. And what I love is we all have a name, but we also have a sound. And most of us have never heard our own sound. And our birth tones, what I'm able to do in working creating birth tones for someone, I work with their astrological data. We know that the planet of the Earth has a dominant frequency, okay? And then we know that the planet Jupiter has a dominant frequency and so forth. So we can take all of the alignments of everything that were in place when you incarnated, and that is the orchestra that is you when you were taking it into frequencies that are audible. And what happens when people are given their own sound back to them, it is one of the most powerful tools for rebuilding this field and for rebuilding their health, rebuilding their sense of purpose, rebuilding the good feelings in the body, and so forth. And I am absolutely thrilled to get to share and give people back their sense of who they are, their sense of something powerfully easy that they can do on a regular basis when they've gone into an environment where they know their field got scrambled or got really dusty. And this is the most powerful, tangible tool that you can give yourself, and that is by listening to your own birth tones and having those specific set of frequencies, and they're just available right on your cell phone. So you can just put them on your cell phone and let them play, or you're sitting in your office, you can put on a headset, listen to them as you're going about your daily routine, and they are really profoundly powerful for helping you heal every single aspect of your life. And Jamie, do you want to share some of your experience with your birth tones?
sure. But what these sounds came from was from putting my voice into this fancy machine, and then all of my birth information, astrological information and such like that. And then it creates a track of what it is that I need to put back in through sound of my own frequency into this invisible field. And so even as she told me all of this stuff a couple years ago, I didn't really know what she was talking about, but my angels were with me and they communicate with me a lot. And I call them angel bumps, which is when something's for me or I'm thinking of something that's supposed to happen to me. They would just give me these bumps so that I would know, like, yeah, this is right, because it was still in the beginning. And obviously, just to have me have extra confirmation. And so I did these birth tones with her, and instantly within 3 days of listening to these, it was like, I felt more like myself than I had felt since I was a child, because as I said, like you get dustier and dustier. It was probably around 7 or 8 years old that the dust just got to be so much that I wasn't in my full light or powers from that stage on. And so it's almost like remembering a version of yourself that like you didn't even remember that you had, because it's, if you think about when someone has a baby and a little baby so joyful and it's so happy, and I mean babies cry if they're hungry or they need something, but for the most part if there's nothing that they need, they're just joyful and happy because this field isn't dusty. Everybody's just celebrating every time they poop and everything's just amazing. So it's, you know, it hasn't gotten dusty yet. And so putting back those frequencies of that sound or that energy that you came into this incarnation with through the sound, it brings back all of your energy and your light and fills this invisible field back up with you. And so with the perfect version of you that you came into this incarnation, before anything happened to you, before you got a job, before you paid the bills, before, you know, any of these things that kind of dampen the spirit, and it just puts it right back into you just by listening it to it, because it's actually your sound, the sound of you. Just listen to it once a day. You can listen to it anytime you kind of feel like a little bit off. You're like, oh, I just need to do my birth tones and listen to them. And so I've been using these birth tones for 3 years now. I don't ever not feel like myself. And so what it looked like for me was really like putting back the frequency of who I was before all of these things happened to me, before the sickness, before the trauma, before the losses and everything, even prior to that. It put it all back in. So it was just like, no, I'm not a baby, but I feel just as joyful as one, because I got back all my own tones and my frequencies and the sound that is me, and the energy and the light that is mine, and my field's filled back up with it through these birth tones that are specific only for you. Just like the dolphins have a certain whistle, you have a certain frequency, you have a certain energy that is you, that you came to this planet with when you first were born, before anything happened to disrupt this energy. And so what these birth tones do is give you back your frequency, your signature whistle, just like the dolphins. And it changes the way you feel. You don't, your energy's better. I mean, for me, it was like I was joyful. I was connecting back with my inner child. I was wearing rainbow stuff and just doing whatever I wanted to do, because I was filled back in this field with my own frequency. If you think of this like little kids and they're like, I'm gonna wear this princess dress to school because I like it. And, you know, I'm gonna wear it with these worker boots that are dad's because I don't want my feet to get dirty. The child looks ridiculous, but the child doesn't care because the child's just doing their thing. They're being who they are and they're like, this is me. And so when you get these tones back and you listen to them, it literally fills this field back up with your own energy. And that's kind of what it looked like for me, is I just kind of reverted back to like what I was when I was younger, where I just, you know, I'm just being me and I'm like, this is me. So that's kind of what it looked like for me, in like an easier way to understand it. And it's very specific to you. There are not like certain birth tones that everybody listens to. It's based on your voice, your astrological information, probably some other cool stuff she knows about that I don't really understand. But that's what it looks like in an easier version, to like of how it affects you and how it changes your life and how it influences this invisible field that we're talking a lot about, because it controls and influences everything that you experience, down to the way that you feel, down to the way that your hair is, down to everything, to your toes, to your fingers, everywhere is affected by this field that is you. And so when you get the frequencies and the sound of yourself put back into this field, you just feel like your
It's a
best
game
self.
changer.
Because
Yeah.
I mean, because
That's
it
a
is
game
you.
changer.
Yeah. And
So let's talk about why we would want to hang out with dolphins. Like, what is the deal? What's the deal with dolphins? Well, dolphins are, in our understanding, higher dimensional beings, and they have a bigger brain than we do. They're using 90% of their brain, and whenever we're around dolphins, we just generally feel good. So that's the easy version of it. We go a lot deeper when we're working in with groups about dolphins and understanding our connection with them. But the easy version is dolphins have a very high vibration. And so when we are in their vicinity and we're sharing space with them, they are lifting us up. And so they are one of the most amazing power tools for raising our vibration. And we work in the Keys with dolphins that are in the wild. And we also work with dolphins that we get to get in the water with and be right next to and touch and play with and so forth. And so it's a variety of different dolphin interactions. We also connect with dolphins in the level of consciousness. And so
Right.
when we're doing a sound bath meditation, we're literally calling on the dolphins. The dolphins started speaking to me back in 1990. And I was at a sort of an impasse in my life. I had studied classical ballet my whole life, and that was falling apart because I couldn't continue to be in that toxicity. I was needing to raise my vibration. I didn't know what to do, and the dolphins started showing up in my dreams, and I didn't understand why, but I knew that as I was experiencing something with dolphins that I had never experienced before at all, levels of joy, levels of peace, levels of wisdom and understanding. And I said, well, I don't know what this is, but I've got to follow it because I feel better with this than anything else, any other experience that I'd had. So I changed my major. I redirected my whole entire life and moved to the Florida Keys to be with and around dolphins. And so they can have a really, really profound effect on our lives, even when we're not physically in proximity to them. So when we're in physical proximity to them, it just takes everything to the next level. I've had clients who come on retreat and we do either all or portions of the dolphin adventure experience. And when they go home, everything, an entire new existence is already lined up for them. Better job, better pay, better relationships, better health. It is absolutely amazing the way these higher dimensional beings can have this profound effect on our lives. Jamie has some amazing stories as well with her experience with dolphins and healing.
Yeah, so the dolphins first started speaking to me a year ago, last summer, so almost a year and a half ago. I was actually on one of these retreat things with Shanda, doing this stuff with her as more so a client than a co-host. And what happened was one of the dolphins there started speaking to me and telling me that it was that its grandfather was one of the original dolphins that was in the show Flipper. And so it was asking me if I would do an angel energy healing, ancestral healing on the lines that this dolphin incarnated into, because he was incarnated in the lines of the dolphin, one of the dolphins of the Flipper show. So as I was sitting on the bench, I was wondering if this was really happening. Was this dolphin really telling me this? I hadn't actually spoke to dolphins that I knew of prior to this, but I was already speaking with angels. I was speaking with masters of light. I was connecting with star beings from the stars. And so it wasn't too far-fetched, but at the same time, I really kind of wasn't sure. So what I did is I went over to someone who worked at this place and I asked them if there was any dolphins there that were related to one of the original dolphins of Flipper. And the gentleman working there, he goes, oh yeah. And he pointed over to the dolphin that I just believed I was communicating with. And he goes, oh yeah, that one right there. And I was like, oh my goodness. So I went and told Shanda about this. And, then she told me she's been communicating with dolphins since she was young. And there was a bunch of other synchronicities. And so then after that, it was just dolphin, dolphin, dolphin. And when I was there swimming with the dolphins that day, what happened, like I said, I had been doing lots of angel healings on not just myself, but by this point I was already doing them on many other people. And I was doing lots of ancestral clearing of different lines at that time. And so I was very aware of all of these kinds of things. And when I was there that day with the dolphins and I was in the water with them, what I felt energetically, because I'm very tuned in, like she said, there's many different senses. I'm very tuned into feeling things. And so it felt to me when I was around those dolphins like what it felt like when I was doing healings on people, and Christ would come in. And so it felt the same energy. And I even told her that. I said, it feels like what it feels like when I'm doing healings on people and Christ comes in. And the reason why is because their invisible field is filled with frequency and light. And so that's why people just look at dolphins and it makes you smile, because energetically you're feeling that field that you can't see that they have, that's literally filled with so much light that it made me think of Christ, because that's the energetic comparison that I could compare it to energetically. So just being in the dolphins' presence and being around them is going to share their energy and their light and their field with you, which will uplift your field. And so for me, that was the first time that they communicated with me, was a year and a half ago. But then, of course, after that, it was just like dolphins, dolphins, dolphins. If you came to my house, I have dolphins everywhere, dolphin pillows, dolphin hats, dolphin headbands, because I love their energy and I love their vibration and their frequency. And they're such beautiful beings that are really here to help support not only us as people, but the earth herself with their vibration being here and their frequency. It lifts the vibration of the planet. And so anytime you can spend time with dolphins, like, you're going to be feeling good. But what Shanda was talking about is there's also a consciousness, a dolphin consciousness that is filled with the consciousness of dolphins. Like, there's a consciousness of people, there's a consciousness of different kinds of animals. It just means like it's an energy that creates the dolphins. That's the consciousness of it. And so you can also connect to this consciousness of dolphins, which I've been connecting with the dolphin consciousness for a little while now. Even a dolphin that used to live in the Florida Keys many, many years ago when I was a teenager and going through a lot of hard times, I would go and sit with this dolphin. Now, I didn't talk to this dolphin back then. I didn't even know that I had these gifts, and none of them were really at that time. But I felt very connected to this dolphin. And so as this came online for me, and one day I was just like, kind of, because I have so many angel guides and I can tell by their vibration who it is, and I was kind of wanting a dolphin guide to like be with me even on all of the stuff that we do with the dolphins. And so this dolphin that I knew 25 years ago when I was a teenager has since passed, Sugar the dolphin. Oh, I'm getting the bumps. And so Sugar showed right up in my bedroom, like, so excited to be my guide. And like, yeah, we're old friends. We know each other. So it can, you can connect with dolphins in person, but you can also work with the consciousness of the dolphins, which is what Shanda and I both do, because they also will assist in helping lift your frequency and, getting you vibing high.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome. And so another element that is a tangible tool for raising your vibration is experiencing joy, any kind of joy, anything that makes your heart shine, anything that makes you laugh, anything that makes you giggle. And that's obviously different for everybody. So only you know what really makes you joy filled. So any of those kinds of experiences that you can have. But then when you can take a joyous experience and you can combine it with being in a beautiful place in nature, any place where the energy is really holy and sacred and makes you feel amazing being there, you are doing a massive uplift of your own personal frequency. So in our retreats, we spend as much time as possible in these beautiful sacred spaces in nature, doing things that make us happy and make us feel good. So one more element that I want to talk about and share with you guys that is a very exciting development is one of Jamie's recent gifts that kind of came online, and it is called light language. And so Jamie is a channel, and she's been channeling different high vibrational, high dimensional beings, but now she's actually able to channel light language. And light language is a channeled message that bypasses the conscious mind. It is it can come from different sources, And her immediate, the way her skill came online immediately was just absolutely profound, because she could just suddenly channel, I don't know, 16, 20 different channels of light language just right out of the gate. It was absolutely the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And I've studied light language for probably the last 10, 15 years. And she has a very profound gift with it. And when she had recorded some of her channelings and I was listening to them, one of them came on and I was like, oh my, I've never heard anything like that. That is dolphin. That's dolphin language. And I didn't even know how her voice box could, her physical body could make those sounds, you know. And I just was absolutely blown away, and of course crying, and this is so beautiful. And she has since started using that particular channel of light language with dolphins. And so when we are out with dolphins or in a lagoon with dolphins and she channels light language, it is so incredibly healing for them. So this is also a wonderful way that we're able to give back and help these dolphins who uplift us on so many levels. And so Jamie's light language is able to help and uplift them. And you can, when we're out in the wild, they literally just come from all over and they swarm around the boat, and they get really joyous and really relaxed at the same time. And when we're with them in the lagoons, same thing. They kind of just deeply relax and just start coming over and absorbing all the energy from the light language. So we're very excited to share this with you with the light language and the dolphins. And Jamie, did you have anything you wanted to share about your light language?
Just mostly everything that she said. It just came online for me in July, and at the time I really didn't know what it was, but I have been channeling lots of angels and ascended masters, and where I call them in and let them speak through me. So it wasn't too far-fetched. I've done the same kind of thing, but just in a different way. But as it started coming out, I really didn't know what it was. I know that it felt really good, and that's why I played it for Shanda. And then, now I've seen when we go out and we hang out with the dolphins, whether it's in the wild or at the center, they love it. They come over. I mean, they'll start throwing seaweed and jumping up and down, or they'll just be really relaxed. And it's my understanding that it's the language of light. Like, there's lots of language here and words that like put things into a box, and we've been programmed through language to only think of certain things, or only know like this equals this, and like there's nothing in between. So light language surpasses all of that. There's no programs in it, and realistically you don't need to know what it's saying, because there's not enough words to describe, because words are very programmed, and they're very more in a box. And so light language, when you're bringing through light language, it's literally the language of light that's coming straight from source and channeling through you. And so, it feels really good. You can have emotional reactions, but what it does to this invisible field that we were talking about is it will heal and relax and attune and like break up the dust in any field of anybody who's either saying it or listening to it. And so, originally, because I had channeled so many different angels and masters of light, like I didn't think there was just one light language, because so I was just going off of like my other channeling skills, and I was just calling in all the different ones. The first one I did was like a light language message from Mother Mary, because she's very dear to my heart. She really helps people who to heal from inner child situations. And so I had a lot of inner child situations just from the experience I had growing up and the trauma that I experienced. And so Mother Mary was like really crucial to coming in and helping me heal and feel safe. And so, of course, the first time I was like, oh, well, this is light language. Let me see if I can channel a message from Mother Mary. And so I did. And then after that, it was just like she said, it was like 17 different others. And then one of them was like dolphin language. And I don't know how my voice makes those sounds either, but I'm channeling it and it's coming through. And then, of course, we did it with the dolphin, had the same reaction with both sets. And actually, when I communicate with any dolphin now, and I'll talk to them before we go out and meet them in the wild or at the center, and they'll always tell me whatever they want to tell me, and then they'll tell me that they want light language because they like the way that it feels. It's like the light, it's the language of light, and it's coming from source, and so it makes anybody feel good in any field in any day. And so I'm just excited about it, and I would, love to share it with you all if you come on the retreat.
Well, and let's see. I think I want to cover a little bit about the center and some of the other experiences that people get to have, some of the other tools and technologies that we have available for people coming on retreat. So our center, Namaste Healing Retreat Center, we have a beautiful scalar field. And so all the time that we're spending in the studio, we are in this amazing scalar field. And scalar is basically canceling out any of those dust producing electromagnetic fields. Yeah. So you just, the moment you walk in the studio, you just go, oh, it feels really good in here. I don't know why it feels really good in here, but it does. And so we have a scalar field there. And then we also have one of my absolute favorite, just such a gift. It's gift to humanity is the energy enhancement system. And so everybody coming on retreat is getting their own session, personalized session in the energy enhancement system. And what this does is this is using a scalar field and biophotonic light and some other really cool technologies that are basically charging the cells of your body. And what does that mean? So any cells that are vibrating at a low charge would be cells like cancer, cells like autoimmune disease, cells that are sick and they don't have the voltage, they don't have the energy to vibrate in a higher frequency that is one of health. And I think we can all understand this in our own experience, because when we don't have a lot of energy, we get grumpy, right? If we're not feeling well, we don't have the energy to go out and go and adventures and do things that require energy to feel good. And so if we are experiencing low energy, we don't experience health, we don't have the energy to go do things that are fun and playful and so forth. And so you are going to be getting charged up in every way, shape, and form on this retreat with us. So we're employing this technology that literally charges the cells of your body, just like we charge a cell phone. And the more time you spend in this field, the better everything gets. It's a fifth dimensional healing vortex that's created by this system. And so you just feel amazing. So a couple other things, every person gets the opportunity to have a synergy room spa experience. This is my creation from a couple years ago, and it's an energy circuit. You're experiencing red light therapy, infrared sauna, massage chair, vibe plate, crystal healing biomat, so you're sleeping on a bed of crystals. It's just amazing. And microbubble spa. And so you're getting an infusion of oxygen through this microbubble technology that takes water, which is essential for life and essential for any healing process in the body, and it's amplifying the oxygen that is within the water that you're breathing, and it's going into the cells of the skin. And so for the largest organ of the body, and you just feel absolutely amazing. So we have quite a few things. We're also going to do a biofield clearing for each person who comes on the retreat. And this is where Jamie and I will be going in with tuning forks. I've been working with tuning forks since 2008. And I kind of have this one particular fork I call my Excalibur. So when I really need to clear some energy, this is the one that I use. And so we're going to be going in and clearing this electromagnetic field manually. And so you're getting that energy, your electromagnetic field cleared manually by either myself or Jamie. And so you're getting to start fresh with a new template and everything clear for you. Another thing that we're doing, every person is getting an individual angelic energy healing session with Jamie as part of their retreat package. And we're going to be teaching you some of these amazing skills that Jamie has of how to connect with your guides, your angels, and masters of light. So she's going to be teaching you how to do this. We have several sound bath meditations, and it's so funny. I've done so many sound bath meditations over the years. I don't even really, put that at the top of the list anymore. But it's funny because I've had so many people tell me that even just one of my sound bath meditations has been like totally life-changing for them. So you're going to experience quite a few of the sound bath meditations in our studio. And we're also going to do a quantum sound therapy session for you. This is a different form of voice analysis and balancing that is the creators of this amazing technology. Their mission with their work is to awaken consciousness. And we have seen so many miracles happen with this quantum sound therapy, where just by listening to a 24-minute soundtrack created by the balancing frequencies from your voice, people's lives have dramatically changed just from this one form of sound therapy. People have gone from being in really toxic relationships that were, explosive and I would say borderline dangerous. And within a matter of hours, it's like peace comes to the whole entire land that they're vibrating in. And then we're also going to be working with other kinds of frequencies. So you get to experience how quickly your body can shift from any kind of chronic muscle pain or stiffness in the body, where you can just listen to a specific soundtrack and feel pretty instant relief. Most of these soundtracks are anywhere between 15 minutes and 60 minutes long, and you're getting a sound massage where it's balancing everything in the body strictly through brainwave entrainment. It's really, really fun stuff. So it's going to be an immersion in sound and light and energy healing, and teaching you how to continue using these tools once you get back home, and teaching you how to transform basically anything in your life from using some of the skills that we are excited to empower you with. Any other thoughts, Jamie?
I just wanted to say that earlier before we started filming today, I was sitting and calling in all my team and connecting with the angels and the dolphins in particular, just wanting to know if there was anything that we should talk about also. And what they said, and Shanda also got this too, is that if you are one of the people that is meant to come on this retreat with Shanda and I, either this month or any of the upcoming months, the angels and the dolphins are going to deliver you a synchronicity. Now, synchronicity is something that's like starts happening and you start noticing it. Lots of times it will be like with numbers, and you'll start seeing the same number over and over. And everybody who comes on the retreat, I'm going to teach you how to communicate with the angels and your guides through numbers. But also what they were telling me is that they wanted me to tell everyone who's watching this that if you're meant to come, you're either going to start seeing the number 1111. That's a message usually from the angels, and in particular, Archangel Metatron. He is associated with being assigned to all rainbow, crystal, and indigo children. So normally when you start seeing 1111, that's usually associated with Archangel Metatron. But in this situation, it's also going to be related to the dolphins, because you're going to see this number and know that you're supposed to come on this retreat with us. And then we're going to get you vibing high through all the things Shanda knows how to do through her miracle of sound healing, and then me connecting you with the angels and healing and cleansing this field, both of us, and then also with the dolphins and calling them in to assist in the healing and lifting of your vibration. And so if you start seeing 1111 all over the place after watching this video, that is a message from the angels and from the dolphins that you're meant to come on this trip at some point. The other thing that they wanted me to say is that you will also, the dolphins will appear in your life in some way, whether you see a real dolphin jumping out of the water, whether you see the tile carpet commercial on TV with a little dolphin guy. Maybe someone gives you a statue of a dolphin, or your kid just shows up one day with a dolphin stuffed animal. Somehow the dolphin consciousness and the angels are going to appear a dolphin in your life in some way. And so you will either see 1111, or you will somehow have a dolphin show up in your awareness and in your reality. or maybe both, and maybe over and over. And so they'll just keep sending you the message until you decide to do this. Now, that's what they wanted me to tell everyone, because they assured me that they will get these messages out to those who are meant to come. And so I just wanted to bring that into this today so that everyone would know, because it's really exciting when you get told something prior to, and then you start seeing these synchronicities, because you're like, oh my gosh, the angels are here. Oh my gosh, the dolphins are reaching out to me. Oh my gosh, the dolphins want me to come and swim with them. The dolphins are reaching out to me. And so it gets very exciting. And they were reminding me of how exciting that was for me and that they promised me that they will make sure to do this. So be on the lookout for the number 1111, and also on the lookout for the ways that the dolphins are going to let you know that they are sending this little nudge to you to come here and be part of this retreat, and, learn all the things that I've done to heal myself. And Shanda, we're putting into a big master class of healing and just sending people off with a completely different energy field than they got here with, where then they're feeling really good and vibing high, and they know all the tools to keep their vibration up, and then also communicating and like connecting with the dolphins in general. And so I just wanted to put that out there, because I guarantee you it's going to happen to you. And then when it does, get in touch with us. And the other thing I wanted to say is, if you are meant to come on this trip and you start seeing 1111, or you start seeing dolphins showing up in your reality, but you're not sure how it will work out, how will you pay for it, how will you go, who's going to take care of your kids when you're gone, whatever, what you need to do is just say over and over, I am willing to go. Thank you to my guardian angel for getting me there. And that's all you have to say. You don't need to know how, and you don't need to know why. Just keep saying that you are willing, and thank your guardian angel for assisting you getting here. And then they will help you do that, because you've given them permission. They will help you to find someone to take care of your kids, or someone will just be like, oh, I can take care of those kids. Or, I mean, it will just fall into place. Again, the synchronicities will just happen for you. And all you really have to do is say, I'm not really sure how, angels or dolphins, but I am willing. Thank you to the angels for leading me there, and they will.
Beautiful. Yes, 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 yes. Well, Jamie and I went on a retreat together with an animal communicator. It was amazing to be with dolphins for a whole week, and we didn't find out about it until very, very last minute. And we both had all kinds of
All
yeah, we
same
want to
stuff.
go.
Yep.
And then we had all the resistance. Well, how and is this going to go? And it all worked out beautifully. Like it was just right. We knew we were supposed to go. And so we still had to work through the challenges of the 3D and so forth, but it was totally divine, absolutely worth it. And so if you're thinking about it and you have that nudge of like, yeah, I want to go, but I don't know how, just reach out, because you just never know. We may have a really easy solution where you say, well, let's just do this, and it's there and it's easy. So we are here to work with you and to make it all happen in whatever is the easiest and best flow, and just have that feeling that you're not alone in trying to make this come together for you. So we're all in this together. We want you to experience amazing freedom, amazing connection, feel totally recharged. And again, like I just sort of take for granted sometimes the most obvious things, but if you look at both of our backgrounds here, these are images from the Florida Keys, and the Florida Keys themselves are an amazing healing vortex. The fresh air, the light codes, you're sitting on a beautiful ancient bed of crystalline coral rock. It's just beautiful. It's amazing. People coming to the Florida Keys for eons, and they just come because they're just called. People just go, I don't know what to do, but I'm going to Key West. And so we're here, and we have all of that as part of the experience, and then adding on top of it all the specific, the advanced medbed technologies, the connections with dolphins, the angels, and the light language, and so forth. So I just didn't want to bypass one of the things that so many people are just dying to get to the keys, just to be in the environment that is so healing in and of itself. So that's about it. I guess we should wrap it up. And thank you, everyone, for your time. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I will be sure that my number is posted here so you have it. And we look forward to seeing you very soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.